The world is full of dream destinations, beaches, mountains, and cities that call out to travelers. But hidden among them are places that look beautiful on the surface, yet hold dark secrets beneath. Imagine booking a trip only to find yourself surrounded by burning heat that could kill you in hours. Or walking through streets where the wrong corner might be your last. Some of these spots are ruled by nature's fury, others by human violence, and a few by mistakes so catastrophic they still echo through time. From ghost towns frozen overnight to cities where life runs on fear instead of freedom, these are destinations you'd never want stamped on your passport. Stick around because the last one might be the most haunting of them all. Yemen. Yemen was once a jewel of the Arabian Peninsula, home to ancient kingdoms like Sheba and beautiful cities with unique architecture. But since 2015, the country has been devastated by a brutal civil war between the Houthi rebels and a Saudi-led coalition. Bombings destroyed historical sites in Sana'a, a UNESCO World Heritage City. Millions of people face famine and disease, and the United Nations calls Yemen the world's worst humanitarian crisis. Even hospitals have been hit, leaving locals without medical help. Tourists are advised to stay away. Foreigners are at risk of kidnapping or getting caught in attacks. Once known for its coffee trade and historical ports like Aden, Yemen is now a battlefield. The situation is so severe that in 2018, even aid workers pulled out for safety. For travelers, this is not just a bad destination, it's one of the most dangerous places on Earth. Mount Everest Base. Climbing Everest is a dream for many, but the mountain is more deadly than glorious. More than 300 climbers have died on its slopes, many of their bodies still frozen in place. One body, known as Green Boots, became a landmark on the trail. In 2019, shocking photos showed a traffic jam near the summit as dozens of climbers lined up in freezing conditions, with some dying from exhaustion while waiting. Even reaching base camp is tough, with altitude sickness affecting thousands every year. The 2015 Nepal earthquake triggered avalanches that killed 22 climbers at Everest's base camp in a single day, the deadliest disaster in the mountain's history. While people pay up to $100,000 to climb Everest, the risks are brutal. Nature doesn't care about money or ambition here. Every step can be your last. Mount Merapi. Mount Merapi, whose name means Mountain of Fire, is one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world. Standing near Yogyakarta, Indonesia, it erupts regularly, sometimes more than once a decade. In 2010, one eruption killed over 300 people and forced 350,000 to evacuate. Villages buried in ash and lava flows became ghost towns overnight. Despite the danger, locals keep rebuilding because the volcanic soil is so fertile. Farmers risk their lives every day working under the shadow of the volcano. In 2021, Merapi erupted again, spewing ash nearly 10,000 feet into the sky. Its constant activity makes it one of Earth's most closely monitored volcanoes. For tourists, it may look like a stunning mountain hike, but one wrong eruption could turn the adventure into tragedy. Bangui. Bangui, the capital of the Central African Republic, is one of the world's least visited capitals, and with good reason. Political instability, armed militias, and extreme poverty make it one of the most dangerous cities to enter. Since independence in 1960, the country has suffered repeated coups and conflicts. In 2013, violence between Christian and Muslim militias tore the city apart, leading to thousands of deaths. Today, UN peacekeepers patrol parts of Bangui, but control is fragile. Armed robberies, kidnappings, and random attacks are common. Even aid workers travel with heavy protection. The city lies on the banks of the Ubangi River, but instead of becoming a trade hub, it's trapped in conflict. For travelers, Bangui offers no safe hotels, no reliable infrastructure, and no real security, just the constant threat of violence. Kabul. Kabul has been scarred by decades of war. Once known for its beautiful gardens and trade routes, it is now marked by explosions, shootings, and fear. After the Taliban regained control in 2021, international flights stopped and the city plunged deeper into instability. Suicide bombings frequently hit crowded places like schools and mosques. In August 2021, during the U.S. withdrawal, a bombing at Kabul airport killed more than 170 people, including 13 U.S. soldiers. Foreigners face the risk of kidnapping, while locals struggle to survive daily attacks. Once a historic city along the Silk Road, Kabul is now more a battlefield than a tourist site. Even journalists and diplomats move only under heavy protection. For travelers, it's not just dangerous, it's nearly impossible to enter without risking your life. Ciudad Juárez. Ciudad Juárez, sitting on the border with Texas, has a dark reputation. In 2010, it recorded nearly 3,000 murders, making it one of the deadliest cities in the world. The violence comes from brutal cartel wars over drug routes into the United States. Though crime has declined since then, in 2022, a deadly prison riot killed 19 people, proving Juárez is far from safe. Tourists risk robbery, kidnapping, and being caught in gang violence. Even locals often avoid going out at night. Juárez was once called the murder capital of the world, and its scars remain, while El Paso, just across the border, is considered one of the safest U.S. cities. Juárez shows the brutal contrast of beauty and danger, divided only by a river. San Pedro Sula. San Pedro Sula was once Honduras's industrial hub, but by 2012, it was labeled the murder capital of the world. That year, its homicide rate was 173 per 100,000 people, worse than many war zones. Gangs known as Maras control neighborhoods, demanding protection money from businesses and even bus drivers. Those who refuse often pay with their lives. Extortion, kidnappings, and armed robberies are daily realities. In recent years, the government has tried to lower crime, but poverty and gang power keep violence alive. Even U.S. travel advisories warn strongly against visiting. While Honduras has stunning beaches and islands like Roatan, San Pedro Sula is the last place a tourist should land. Behind its busy streets lies a city where safety doesn't exist. Caracas. Caracas, once a wealthy capital, is now a city in crisis. Venezuela's economic collapse has turned daily life upside down. Blackouts leave neighborhoods in darkness, while shortages of food and medicine push people to desperation. In 2018, Caracas topped the global homicide charts with a murder rate of 111 per 100,000 residents. Tourists risk robbery, kidnapping, or worse. Even Venezuelan baseball player Wilson Ramos was kidnapped near Caracas in 2011 before being rescued. The city still has cultural gems and mountain views, but crime overshadows everything. Long lines for food, armed robberies in daylight, and gunfire in some districts are part of daily life. For outsiders, it's not just uncomfortable, it's extremely dangerous. Damascus. Damascus is one of the oldest cities on Earth, with over 4,000 years of history. Once known for its bustling souks, ancient mosques, and the legendary Straight Street, it has now been devastated by war. Since Syria's civil war began in 2011, Damascus has been hit by bombings, shelling, and street fighting. In 2013, nearby Ghouta saw a chemical weapons attack that killed hundreds, shocking the world. Historic neighborhoods and ancient landmarks have been reduced to rubble. Today, soldiers patrol streets once filled with traders and pilgrims. Tourism, once an important part of Syria's economy, has vanished. For travelers, Damascus is not a place of culture anymore. It's a reminder of war's destruction. North Korea. North Korea is one of the most secretive and controlled countries in the world. Tourists are only allowed on government-guided tours, and every step is watched. Straying from the group is nearly impossible. In 2016, U.S. student Otto Warmbier was arrested for allegedly stealing a propaganda poster. He was sentenced to 15 years of hard labor and died shortly after being released. Visitors may see grand parades, giant statues of leaders, and perfectly staged cities, but much of the country remains hidden. Behind the curtain are prison camps, censorship, and fear. Even taking the wrong photo can be considered a crime. Tourists may be curious about the world's most isolated nation, but visiting here is like stepping into a trap. You never know what action might get you punished. Mogadishu. Mogadishu, Somalia's capital, is infamous for violence. Since the 1990s, it has faced constant fighting between warlords, militias, and terror groups. The Islamist group Al-Shabaab frequently launches bombings and attacks across the city. In 2019, a hotel bombing killed 26 people, including international guests. Foreign journalists and aid workers move with armed escorts, while locals live with the sound of gunfire and explosions. Despite being on the Indian Ocean with beautiful beaches, Mogadishu is no tourist paradise. Piracy also remains an issue along Somalia's coast. The US and UK both strongly warn against all travel here. For tourists, Mogadishu isn't just dangerous, it's one of the riskiest cities on Earth where survival can never be guaranteed. Chernobyl Exclusion Zone. On April 26, 1986, reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded, sending radioactive clouds across Europe. The nearby city of Pripyat was evacuated in hours, leaving schools, apartments, and amusement parks abandoned. Today, the Ferris wheel still stands rusted, never used after the disaster. Radiation still lingers in the soil and buildings. More than 100,000 people were forced to flee, never to return. In 2019, HBO's Chernobyl miniseries reignited global interest, showing the horror of that day. In 2022, Russian troops briefly occupied the area during the Ukraine war, raising fears of stirring up radioactive dust. Chernobyl is not just a ruin, it's a warning from history, a reminder of how one mistake can poison generations. For tourists, it's haunting and unsafe, the ultimate ghost land. Maceió. At first glance, Maceió looks like a postcard paradise. Its beaches stretch endlessly, with turquoise waters and coconut trees swaying in the breeze. But behind this beauty hides one of Brazil's most violent cities. In 2017, reports showed Maceió had a homicide rate of more than 60 murders per 100,000 residents, making it one of the deadliest urban areas in the world. Drug gangs, robberies, and assaults plague daily life, and tourists are easy targets. Even locals warn against walking alone at night, or even during the day. Despite its rising resorts and hotels, crime overshadows tourism. Many travelers who came for sun and sand ended up leaving with stories of danger. While Brazil has famous tourist hubs like Rio and São Paulo, Maceió's paradise facade hides chaos beneath. Visiting here can mean enjoying a cocktail by the sea one moment and facing robbery the next. Death Valley. Death Valley, California holds the record as the hottest place on Earth. In July 1913, the temperature hit 134 degrees Fahrenheit, 56.7 degrees Celsius. And in 2020, it nearly broke the record again at 54.4 degrees Celsius. Tourists often underestimate this desert, only to suffer heat stroke or worse. In 2009, a German family disappeared after their car broke down. Years later, only their skeletal remains were found. The valley is so hot and dry that bodies can vanish quickly into the vast wilderness. Some thrill seekers try to fry eggs on the scorching ground, but for many, the trip becomes deadly. Known for its ghost towns and eerie silence, Death Valley earned its name from pioneers in the 1800s who died crossing it. With rattlesnakes, extreme heat, and endless roads, it's more a survival test than a tourist destination. Those who visit without preparation often pay with their lives. Lake Natron. Lake Natron is one of the strangest and deadliest lakes on Earth. Its bright red waters come from microorganisms that thrive in extreme salt and heat. The water is so alkaline, reaching a pH close to 10, that it can burn human skin. Temperatures often soar above 40 degrees Celsius, and any animal that falls into the lake risks being calcified, preserved like a statue. British photographer Nick Brandt shocked the world in 2013 with haunting images of birds that looked like stone figures after being trapped in Natron's waters. Despite the danger, flamingos nest here, using the poisonous lake as a shield against predators. Scientists say the water's sodium carbonate is similar to what ancient Egyptians used to mummify bodies. It's beautiful but terrifying, a place where life and death exist side by side. Tourists may be tempted by its surreal look, but touching the water could end in disaster.